Huawei sub-brand Honor has certainly become a household name in India, and one of the phones that made that happen is the Honor 7X, one of the most loved phones by Honor ever, and a lot of people were waiting for the successor to come. Honor released a lot of phones after that, but all everybody would ask for was the Honor 7X's successor, which was the Honor 8X. And now finally, we do have one. This is the Honor 8X, a worthy successor to the Honor 7X with the glass and metal design and a notch up front. But is it really worth the price tag? Well, that's what we are here to find out. Hey, this is Sreehari from Mr. Phone, and this is the full review of the Honor 8X. Before we jump into the video, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do that and also hit the bell icon so that you can see me again and again. Honor has always been known for beautiful and premium looking designs. The Honor 8X is no different. It's a stark contrast from its predecessors' all metal body to now a glass and metal construction with two-tone design at the back that makes you want to hold it in landscape. It sure is a very unique design that does make it look like one of those old cameras that you'd buy. It sure is slippery though. I mean, lying down and watching content on this, it has slipped out of my hand almost every time. That said, I do like the fact that it is slightly wider, which helps me to get a firm grip. The power and volume buttons are on the right side, and I myself don't have a preference in that matter, so it's fine to me. The buttons themselves seem quite clicky and tactile, and I'm quite happy with how they feel. The bottom hosts a micro USB port, sadly flanked by a single speaker grill and a headphone jack. The speaker grill is just like any other speaker grill. It gets blocked easily to the point that there is no sound coming out of this phone. It didn't strike me as a particularly loud phone either, so that's that. The headphone jack output is quite good. I've enjoyed my share of music on it, and since I'm no audiophile, I can't really attest to how great the sound quality is, but from my use, it sounded just fine. The rest of the metal frame has a few antenna bands on it in an almost symmetrical way, so that's nice. Now, the phone does come with a traditional fingerprint scanner at the back and face unlock on front. Talking about that fingerprint scanner, it is pretty fast. It is as fast as any other Honor phone. Honor has been doing fingerprint scanners well in the past too, so that is something that you don't have to worry about at all. The face unlock is again something that Honor has nailed. It is not the secure kind of face unlock, it's just something that will help you unlock your phone very quickly. If you are someone who doesn't have a problem with it not being secure, then please use that. If you do, then please only use the fingerprint scanner and turn the face unlock off. I am someone who has a problem with things not being symmetrical. The Honor 8X is generally well built, but there's one thing on this phone that is particularly irritating the hell out of me, and that is the placement of the notification LED. It sits right on the top right side of the front camera and is in a very unsymmetrical place for a phone that boasts about design. So I think that's one thing that I am very irritated about. I just feel like the notification LED could have been placed somewhere more symmetrical, maybe at the bottom chin right here. This would have been a perfect position for that notification LED, but overall, I think the design and the build quality on this thing is top notch and is easily one of the best features of this phone. Now, from the design to another feature that could also be one of the best features of this phone, and at least for me is the best feature, and that is this beautiful display. There was a time when you could look at a smartphone display and tell if it was a premium phone or a budget phone. That unfortunately can't be done anymore. Displays at every price have become so good that you won't be able to tell them apart. The Honor 8X has an equally impressive Full HD plus IPS LCD panel, and it's real good. There is a notch at the top which I am not a fan of, but that's a personal preference thing again. Although I'm a big fan of that bottom chin. It has to be one of the smaller bottom chins I've seen from Android phones. Even the OnePlus 6 and the Vivo Nex have slightly bigger chins. This is also one of the reasons why this phone looks so amazing with a good wallpaper. It just feels like the display is going all the way to the bottom, very near to where you've held it. The colors are also quite impressive, and the fact that the display doesn't show any signs of color shifts is just perfect. Now, for the people who watch a lot of Netflix, you'd be happy to know that it comes with Widevine L1 certification, so now you can stream your HD videos on this phone, no sweat. Basically, this impeccable display and that wafer thin chin is a look that even more expensive flagships would kill for. The Honor 8X run EMUI 8.2.0 built on top of Android 8.1 Oreo, and it is actually quite impressive. There was a time when I was an adamant follower of stock Android and did not even give other skins a chance. EMUI is one of the better operating systems out there. It comes out of the box without an app drawer like many other Chinese skins, but this one gives you the option of adding one. This is exactly where EMUI stands out. Although it comes out of China, there is a lot of breathing space to change things around, unlike OPPO, Vivo or Xiaomi phones where you don't really have that choice. To the left of the home screen, we have Google Now page, which again is something others don't have. On swiping down, we get a quick settings panel, which is well laid out and makes it easier to turn toggles on and off. Another big change that I noticed with the Honor 8X was the navigation gestures. So now the Honor 8X also has navigation gestures. Honor used to have some other gestures before too, but that use some other software features. This is a proper navigation using gestures. So the home is swipe up from the bottom, chin right in the center. You can swipe up and hold to bring out the recent screen, and the back is like you saw in the Xiaomi phones, where you can swipe from the left or right side of the screen. And that way of back navigation is a very intuitive way. Although this being a very wide phone, I did not really enjoy that back navigation method a lot. Although I'm still using those navigation gestures and I've had no problem with it. The 8X does support Project Rebel, but there's only one partition, which means there are no seamless updates possible. The settings page is again a very standard looking Oreo settings page with smart grouping and a search tab for easy access. The battery page does have a few interesting features like power saving mode and ultra power saving mode that takes things to the extreme. So the ultra power saving mode limits your usage to a single home screen with only 8 apps and no more. The entire background is turned black, although I don't know how much it would help on an LCD display, but it does help when you want to save those last few watts. Talking about some other things, bootloader unlocking is something we'll have to wait and see on the Honor 8X. However, Huawei recently has not been very warm to the developer and custom ROM community, with them not really supporting the bootloader unlocking and using other methods basically to make people stop doing that. So if you are someone who's interested in doing that, who's interested in putting a lot of custom ROMs on their phones, unlocking bootloader, doing all that kind of stuff, I can't really recommend this phone to you. Now coming to performance, the Honor 8X comes with the new Kirin 710 chipset, which is a first for the Honor brand, although we saw that earlier this year in the Huawei Nova 3i. While the naming makes it seem like they wanted to compete with the Snapdragon 710, it's really closer to a Snapdragon 660 in terms of performance. The everyday use was pretty fine. The UI did feel slightly slow, but that was the animations, not so much the processor. I had smooth everyday experience with the phone honestly, and there was zero lags in the UI. The phone does come with 4 and 6GB RAM variations, and our model, as you think, is not the 6GB RAM variant, but it is indeed the 4GB RAM variant. Now the guys over at Honor made this conscious decision to give us the lower end version, because generally when you see reviews, all the reviewers have the highest end variant, and the performance generally in the highest end variant is obviously the best. But when most people go out and buy a phone, they generally, a lot of them look at the lower end variants and they have no idea of how the performance is going to be, because since it's not the highest end variant, there's going to be some degradation. This is specifically why Honor gave us the 4GB RAM, which is the base variant, so that we could test out how the performance is on the base variant, and if the performance turned out to be fine, then obviously the higher end variant would be even better. Now that was a risky business, I must say, but I think they were successful in it. I've had a very good experience with the 4GB RAM variant, and I am pretty sure the 6GB RAM variant will be even better. Now coming to the gaming part of it, I played titles like PUBG and Asphalt 9 mostly, and it worked quite well. Asphalt was quite smooth, I didn't have a lot of problem with it. PUBG is a more intensive game because there are a lot more graphics, a lot more players involved, so it's more graphic intensive, and I really had no problem. Obviously compared to phones like the OnePlus 6 or the Vivo Nex that I was using along with this phone, it obviously doesn't look as good, but that is definitely the graphics and the FPS department. I had a very pleasant experience playing games on it, and unless you choose to spend your whole day only gaming, in which case I would recommend something like a Pocophone or a Doctor, I say that this is a great buy. For you people out there who can't do without scores, the 8X scored 139,000 on Antutu, which is the highest under 20,000 category if I'm not wrong. The Geekbench single score was 1599 with the multi-core score of 5286. The graphics score has been quite confusing. So basically we do the 3D Mark Slingshot Extreme test on all our phones, and basically the Realme 2 Pro is what we are comparing it to with the Snapdragon 660. Now 3D Mark Slingshot Extreme's Vulkan score of the Realme 2 Pro was 963. The Honor 8X actually scored much higher with 1084. However, the OpenGL score on the Honor 8X is 961, and the Realme 2 with the Snapdragon 660 scored much higher with a 1230 score. If you want to see a performance comparison of the Honor 8X with other phones, please let me know in the comment section below. It does look interesting, so let us know if you want to see that comparison in the comment section below. If a lot of people do want to see it, we definitely do that comparison. But basically talking about performance, the Honor 8X is among the best when it comes to the under 20,000 category, and I think you'll have no problem whatsoever with the performance of this phone. The cameras on the Honor 8X didn't particularly excite me. I took a lot of photos using it. I always got soft photos in return. The colors look too saturated too. I mean, even with AI off. I don't know why Honor puts this kind of a processing on their pictures, but honestly, I'm not a fan. I don't think it's the sensors. The main sensor has an f/1.8 aperture, which is quite good even for low light. But I think it's the software that's responsible for the very unnatural looking pictures that come out of it. That said, I can say that there are plenty times the camera gets the pictures right, and they certainly look good. Now, I took the Realme 2 Pro for comparison because it is arguably one of the best cameras in the budget section right now. You can go and check out a comparison that we did with the Realme 2 Pro, the Mi A2 and the Nokia 6.1 Plus. We link that in the description and the card above. But we're taking the Realme 2 Pro, and here are some pictures side by side with the Realme 2 Pro and the Honor 8X. And I think you can see the real big difference between these pictures. It's not the details. The details are somewhat fine, but the colors are too unnatural for me to choose the Honor image. It just looks very plasticky all around. Coming to video 2, the Honor 8X shoots 1080p. That's the maximum resolution that the phone can shoot, but it shoots 1080p at 60 FPS too. I think it is one of the only phones that I know under this price range that shoots 1080p at 60 FPS. That said, there's no EIS on either 30 FPS or 60 FPS. So again, compared to the Realme 2 Pro, the video footage that you see right now, you can clearly see how stabilized and how good the Realme 2 Pro's video looks in comparison to the Honor 8X. So again, I'm not impressed. Although coming to the selfies, if you take a look at the selfies of the Realme 2 Pro and the Honor 8X, the Realme 2 puts a lot of beautification on its pictures. The Honor 8X actually looks pretty good from the selfies. Selfies have always been a strong point of Honor phones, and the selfies out of the Honor 8X also look very good and very detailed. Although the back camera does not impress me at all. With that said, obviously we'll be doing a camera comparison. Please let us know in the comments what phones you want the comparison done with, and we'll surely try and get those phones in the comparison too. The Honor 8X comes with a big 3750 mAh battery inside. Now this is quite a large size compared to other phones in this price range, and I have had a good experience with it too. I have used the phones right and left, and it has lasted me a full day without a problem. When it comes to charging, it took a whole 2 hours to charge, and almost 2 hours was the average that I had with all the charging times, and that is not bad, not good. I mean, it's not the best, but again, when compared to some other phones that take almost over 3 hours to charge, this looks pretty fine to me. Also adding the different software features that Honor has produced, like obviously the different power saving modes, and also Honor lets you know what are the most power intensive apps on the phone that you're using right now, so that you can turn them off and save a lot more battery. So I think in the battery department, you should have no problem with the Honor 8X. It's a very big size and also charges pretty quickly. Now coming to the verdict, should you buy the Honor 8X? Now, for the people who have already decided that they want to buy an Honor 8X, I am not really someone to tell you anything, but if you are really deciding between which phone to buy in this price range, I think the Honor 8X is a fully feature-packed phone. It comes from a trusted name. It's a very premium glass and metal design. That's something that you will find in very few phones in this price category. It's definitely a head turner, and you would look at it twice. Look at it like this. I think this is one of the most unique looking phones that I've seen recently. It has a great display up front. The software is really good. The cameras are something that I still have to test out in detail before I put out a final verdict on those cameras, although I have told you whatever I feel about the camera in the camera department of this review. Apart from that, everything about this phone is really good. So if you are looking to buy something that looks this beautiful and performs very well and basically gives you a very hassle-free life, then I think the Honor 8X is a very good phone to buy. With that, we come to an end of this review. If you have any feedback that you want to tell me, please do that in the comment section below. But I guess that's it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. This is Sreehari from Mr. Phone with the Honor 8X, and I'll catch you in the next one.